Truth Cafe Podcast.
From wherever and whenever you happen to listen to this. Welcome to the Truth Cafe Podcast.
Willy.
I am Tito Caris.
And I am Mumbai. It's so good to say Willy from home, man.
I know, it feels nice, right?
Yeah. But it's so weird.
We have a special guest today. We have a special guest, man.
Special guest in the building, radio host, Kiss FM, Kenya's most wanted, head of artists and repertoire of Vice Life, Entertainment Kenya, TnT Entertainment, MC, man. He's blessed to have a lot of titles, man. Jinx in the building.
Yo, what's up, guys? Happy to be here. I was also very. That's why I'm showing all the love.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you.
First of all, before we go any further, shout out to Kenyan Plug. Because of her, I was like, you know what? We've got to have Jinx on.
Yeah. That was random. You know, you guys just caught me. You caught me at a time when I felt the need to, to start telling these stories, to start expressing myself. And I love podcasts because it allows you to, talk in long formats. In radio, you can only do, maybe 2 minutes. But for a podcast, you can really get into it. So just right around the time I was thinking of even starting another podcast, that's when, Kenyan Plug reached out and, things just happened for a reason.
What other podcast are you starting? I left you with Buddha Blaze. What is the other podcast you want to be on?
I'm working on a podcast. We actually did the pilot last week with Tellemani.
It's called Let's Talk.
A podcast.
Or Real Talk.
Real Talk.
Yeah, I saw that one. What is it about? What is it going to be about?
We just want to have unfiltered discussions on the entertainment business. We feel like, people hide a lot of what happens behind the scenes, and there are certain things that are never talked about that people need to know when they're getting into this business. So, we just wanted to create a space where we could basically talk shit. Yeah, we could, we could call out, we could call out the advertising agencies, we could call out the TV networks, even some of the radio conglomerates, I'm even scared for my job a little bit at Radio Africa doing this podcast, but I think it has to be done. We have to create this market.
That's so dope. I was telling Caris, I think the industry needs like pioneer artists, the artists who began this music thing a while back. They need to give out more Kenyas to the ones who are coming up right now. So I think it's a good initiative that you guys are starting.
Yeah, that's that's literally the first topic we discussed while doing the pilot is the lack of continuity in this business, where every generation they're kind of separated. There's no passing of the torch. And it's weird because it feels like every generation is starting from scratch. They're not building from what existed before them, and we need to break that cycle.
Yeah, and speaking of generations and breaking that cycle, there is something. The reason why we have you on, I wanted us to talk about radio specifically. Personally, I'm a radio presenter. I called myself an employed radio presenter, a struggling radio presenter.
Struggling. Highlight.
Having said that, in the sense that, so I'm fresh out of campus, not fresh really, like 2 years ago, and now I'm trying to maneuver.
You've been chanting for a little bit.
For a little bit, yeah. So I'm trying to understand, how do I get it? Like the little knowledge I have used all of it, and I ran out of ideas, and now I'm here doing a podcast. So that, because every time you try getting into mainstream in any particular way, especially entertainment, people tell you, start doing your own stuff, then they will find you doing it. Is there any other way to go about Jinx?
The number one way is networking. you know, this business it's a very superficial business, and you have to understand that. So you could be the most talented person in the room, but if you don't know somebody who knows somebody, then you can't move. So it's to constantly create networks, and as you develop these networks, it's to create value for the people in your network, so that you are the go-to person for certain things, you know. And doing a podcast is a really good way to identify what your niche is, or you know, what value you can bring to the broadcast space. Because I'm sure you, since you're aspiring radio presenter, I'm sure you listen to radio, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So when you listen and okay, you know what exactly is in the market, then you could do an audit and determine, okay, what's missing, and you could start delivering that online, and at the same time working on your network, you know, with people in the business, the different producers, the program controllers, the presenters, the DJs, you know, like anyone, even the receptionist. You know, you just have to network, because it, what did they say about luck? It's when preparation meets opportunity.
Exactly. Yeah.
So continue to work on your skill, continue to build that network, and eventually, when that moment comes, you'll be ready.
Yeah. Boy.
All right. And what about all these people who get numbers off Instagram and just like get these gigs? Because I'm telling you that people who go to school, get studies over these things, learn how to do radio, learn how to do TV, as in journalism as a whole. And then all of a sudden, this radio thing just goes to these popular kids on Instagram, on YouTube, just because they're making jokes, as opposed to people who are professionally trained.
Like I said, it's a very superficial business, and the most superficial thing we have in the world right now is social media. It's literally about clicks and likes and comments, and that's what determines, you know, who is higher on the social. I don't know what the term is. I don't want to be offensive to anyone.
That one.
But you know what I'm saying.
Yes.
So you find that most people who go to school end up doing the back end stuff. You know, you end up being a producer, or you end up being you know, some of the people who do the behind the scenes stuff. For the most part, the people on camera, the people on mic, the talent, majority of the talent in this era are people who've understood social media, and then you know, they get a little bit of training to fit into traditional media, because you do need some of those elements. Myself, I'm the worst at social media. I've been doing radio for 6 years now, and my social media is still like weak, because I just don't know how to do it. I'm one of the lucky ones. But if you can understand social media and make it work for you, it will definitely be easier for you if you're looking for a talent job in the media.
Yeah, and here's another thing.
Come on, Jinx. You're calling yourself.
Go on, boy.
You're calling yourself lucky. You're calling yourself lucky, Jinx. That's being modest. You've been in this business for a while.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I've worked. Like I said, man, lucky is when preparation meets opportunity. I got lucky.
Yeah, look at all the titles you have for yourself right now. So I don't think it's luck. It's just hard work.
Nasikia ambao unaomba kazi sana nani. Usiombe kazi namna hiyo.
Manze, niko hapa anasema bro, I'm jobless, bro.
Anyway, Jinx, yeah. I realized that you follow Charlamagne the God so much.
That's my guy. That's the goat. That's the goat of modern radio.
I love that guy, man.
Sorry.
Okay,
I call him the goat.
Yeah. So there is I think not this podcast. Their second last episode they were talking about Joe Rogan and his deal to Spotify and whatnot. And he said something very important that caught to me. And he said he would really love to see more companies doing that, so that they show the radio on how to invest in real talent. He said radio is dying because companies no longer invest in real talent because they don't want to spend money. They just find an announcer. They find somebody who can say, hey, the weather is 26 degrees Celsius and whatnot. But when you see Spotify spend so much money on a talent like Joe Rogan, they were like, this is the way to go. Are you of the same opinion? Because I also look at the Kenyan radio scene, and to be specific, urban, because I feel like easy radio zengine vernacular kina radio jambo. This guys are still making it big, but urban, I feel like slowly the market has been split so many times because of the talent and whatnot. What do you make of that?
Picking up, yeah.
I mean, Charlemagne's my guy, and there's some parts I agree with, but okay, let me add some context. Radio is not dying; it's evolving. When you had fewer options for entertainment, then you spent more time listening to radio. But now there's too many options. Even YouTube and Netflix are competing for your attention. And when you're on YouTube, the different titles or the different content creators are competing for your attention. When you're on Netflix, it's the same. So there's too many options. So what has happened to radio over the last 10, 15 years maybe is it's turned into a jukebox. It's more about music. And it's about fitting. And it's about fitting into your daily commute. And that's why morning and evening drive remain the biggest, because when you're in a matatu, when you're in a taxi, or maybe even in your own car on that commute to work or school, that's mostly when you listen to radio. And that's exactly the approach. So radio is programming for 15 minutes of your time. So we need 1 million people to tune in for 15 minutes, and we'll look good on Geopol. You understand? So when you look at it from that perspective, it just opens up the market for people who are passionate about talk. People who can hold conversations in long format, i.e. podcast. There's literally a lane for you. Here's the challenge. Joe Rogan got $100 million in a first world market. We have podcasters here in Kenya, or even content creators on YouTube. When these companies or these agencies reach out to them to advertise on their content, they're literally given these influencer type deals. Like I'll give you, you'll be paid 50K per week for how many weeks, you feel me? And if you look at, so people spend way less time listening to radio, and the value attached to advertising on radio is I don't maybe even a multiple of 1,000. Like it's a serious multiple. Like it's weird compared to the value attached to online content, where one, you can see the actual numbers. With radio, it's random sampling, it's those ways of research. But with online, you can literally see the exact number, you can measure the impact, you can measure impressions, you can see the interaction, but still the value as far as advertising is significantly low to what they pay for traditional media. So in that sense, it's weird. Sorry, what was your question again?
No, as in, I get you, and I feel like you've answered my question. Because my point was, and Wamboyo talked about it, how they give talents, social media friends, let's say, trend jana, small too, they have a radio show. And it kind of bugs the people like me who have been to school. But you see the difference, or the good thing rather for me, and I wish I knew earlier, is you realize in time is complaining won't help you to share. So like for me, this podcast, we're almost turning 1 year with the podcast. But if I had known about podcasting, let's say when I was in second year, third year, I would have covered a great length. But they say, no regrets. After all, you never know what's gonna come out of all this and whatnot. But it's a weird space we are in as radio right now, and it's one space that me and Womboy were trying to maneuver and see how all that is gonna come about and happen. It's interesting, but I love what you're doing, man. Especially being niche based with the hip hop. What you do, what you used to do on Homeboys Radio. How is the transition to 100?
To Radio Africa.
Yeah, like I said, man, it just came with a deeper understanding of how radio actually works, and that's why the Kiss FM move made so much sense. And then as far as hip hop, I wanted to do something way more impactful with hip hop, and so when me and Vice Life came to an agreement, and me and TnT also came to an agreement. That's when it solidified my mind. I was like, okay, now I could move away from Homeboys and try something else. Because also I just wanted to build my own platform as far as radio. And Kiss also gave me a chance as far as being a programmer. So when they offered me the deputy programs controller there, I jumped at the opportunity because it's a career advancement as a broadcaster.
Yeah.
Boy.
And I can say this for a fact. Like I've seen a tremendous growth in the Kiss FM space, because Kiss FM has always had this title of being cliche and
repetitive
redundant,
music.
but I know, right? But right now, as I even go through your page, I'm just seeing these posters of guys, and I'm just like, is the Kiss FM audience ready to listen to this? I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to bring an element of cool to Kiss. I'm also trying to open up a space where we could test new music regularly. And so they gave me that opportunity, and that's good. But you mentioned something about repetitive music. It works. The thing about radio, like I said, you're programming for 50. Like, no one listens to radio for long. Okay, the majority of people do not listen to radio for more than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So someone who's telling you, I had the same song 2-3 times, probably doesn't have anything to do because he's been listening for about 2 hours.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, but it's true though. It's true. If someone has been listening to one radio station, if you've been listening to one radio station for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Come on. Okay, I'll take one for the team. What about those guys who just like have businesses and they just have radios on from morning till evening? What do you mean? I mean, you'll have to listen to radio.
No, they'll be moving across channels. They'll be moving across.
No way.
Because trust me, like, I mean, because okay, let me think about how I'm gonna answer this. Let me think about it for a second. The people who are outspoken about the repetitiveness of of programming are almost non-consequential, because like I said, the majority of people that we're reaching through radio are listening passively during their commute. People who are actively listening, majority of the people who are actively listening
and they will
are non-consequential. I'm telling you.
And
they'll be on social media. Yep. But that's it. When you look at the grand scheme of things, that number is almost insignificant. And I'm not saying they're not important. They are still very important. But you can't dwell on that. I can't start.
You make a small percentage.
I can't start saying, okay, now I won't be repeating songs because 5,000 people are listening all day.
Yeah.
While there are 1 million people who are tuning in at different times, and they all want to hear their favorite song when they tune in. So by having rotation, you are sure that
they will get
every 45 or 50 or whatever minutes, a couple of the big hits play.
Yeah.
So that, someone who's just passively listening catches that. And when you hear one of your favorite songs on radio, that's how you come back.
Yeah, exactly. So here's another thing about the repetitiveness of music. I personally don't have a problem with it, but the problem is the music that is being repetitive. Because there's one thing I learned about music: there's no good or bad song. It's the sense that there are songs literally, I could say like
Karis.
But yes.
Murky waters. Murky waters.
No, listen to me. Listen.
Definitely. I've heard some music in my email, and I'm like, yo, bro, you need to think about another career or something.
I hear you, but hear me out. Hear me out. Let me make this point. Yeah. There are songs, let's say, like Diamond Platinum song. I wouldn't sit here and say I'm the biggest Diamond fan, but when you listen to Kiss and Kwangwaru plays like 10 times, like whether you like that song or you don't like it, you find yourself like, umenyamaza tu kwa nyimbo, Kwangwaru ndio nyimbo kwa kichwa yako. Uko like, why is not happening? So, and I'm saying that there are other good music in Kenya, and I personally would love to see this good music being repeated at the same level as this other music is being repeated. That's my issue. That's the issue I have, if I'm to say so. What do you make of that?
I get what you're saying. You know why that song, slowly seeps into your consciousness and you start singing it?
Yeah.
Because it's written well. It's pop. There's a formula. That didn't happen by chance.
I get that.
That song was designed to be catchy. The producer who sat down and came up with the melody, the artist who, whatever they worked on the lyrics, like it's by design. And being a programmer, you have to identify these songs that could catch on. Let me tell you something. When I was at Homeboys on the jump off, how many good local musicians, was I playing on the regular?
A lot.
Guys who still, and these are guys who still haven't, according to me, reached their full potential.
Yeah. And
understand?
Props to you, by the way. Shout out to you for that. The likes of Days, the likes of Jovi Joe, like Asam Gavi, like you gave this to a platform, and when I hear the music and I know some of them, like, man, this is dope. Kina High Renaissance. It's like good. Shout out to you for that, by the way. That's dope. Anyway, carry on.
I appreciate it. So like I was saying, man, it's just that, with that kind of music is niche.
Yeah.
For a particular crowd.
Yeah.
So when you start, force feeding the masses that music, then you'll face some resistance.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. And what we're in the business of doing is accumulating audiences. So, you might come from a purist, this is a purist mentality where you're saying, let's put on for the talented people we have in our country. It's solid. I mean, it's a noble idea, but that's not how the business works. And when you try it, you'll realize, damn, I'm losing.
Yeah.
I need Diamond.
Yeah.
Because now they're all going to X to get, whatever they're missing here. So Homeboys is a very unique brand. Homeboys is a very unique brand that programs for a very niche crowd, Even outside of Nairobi, not too many people know of or listen to Homeboys.
Exactly.
Very niche programming.
Yeah, one boy.
I think he's answered my question, man. I was supposed to throw that Homeboys issue at him and say, Homeboys is designed to have different audiences. Like your audience was the hip hop audience, and then Ray's audience was different. Jimani's audience was different. I mean, it was different for everybody.
Patricia.
I think everybody. Yeah, I feel like everybody look for what they want. It's the same way.
Sorry.
The same way you go and not listen to Lingala, but you listen to hip hop. It's the same way. I mean, most people, some of us rather would go and scout for good content that would make us happy. I mean, it's just people just getting to know what they want and looking for that. That's just it. But as far as the business aspect is concerned, I think you're right. I totally agree.
All right. Appreciate that. Well, how did you guys link up? Why are you guys working together on the podcast?
You want to take one for the team?
Let me take one for the team. So we went. I went the same campus as Wamboi. That's Multimedia University. I was there doing a bachelor's degree, and I completed it. And I got into radio when I was in third year. Did it for a while. Fell in love.
Congratulations.
Still in love with radio. Still doing it at campus radio. So Wamboi, young kid, akona jani ni nini. She came to the OG of campus.
Sort of like a
Sorry,
mentor.
sir.
Yes.
Sorry, sir. No. Don't blow his horn too loud. No.
So he wasn't your mentor in college.
So anyway, we linked up.
To some extent, I think he was, because most of the things I've learned through radio are not things that I've learned in class or in my my journalism class and journey. So I give him that. He's given me lessons.
There's always a misconception that
firsthand.
There's always a misconception that a mentor has to be like an old guy. Nah.
No.
Yeah, just who understands some stuff before.
But I'm older than her either way. I'm still older than her.
Oh, Karis. Oh, Karis.
Anyway, about the podcast, how the podcast came about is she started doing my show, the evening drive show at MMU, and then it was the idea of I really want to get into mainstream radio because lazima tukule nani. So I thought about it, and I listened to guys like you, I listened to Jimani, I listened to Charlamagne, and all of them, all I heard them saying is, these people won't come for you. You have to put yourself out there. You have to create something for yourself. And when I realized that, I immediately turned my social media like a CV portfolio. I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna DM Jinx my profile, I don't want him to see some acid. I want him to see radio so that at your Jama, I'm about something. Yeah. So after realizing that, and then the timing was perfect. One boy came along, sold her the idea about podcasting, and we're like, you know what? And me and her feed off each other's energy. We have a very great vibe. And that's what's radio and podcasting is about. So almost turning 1 year. So far, so good. Challenges happen apale, but we thank God. We have you finally, man. We feel like we've made it. Now that we have you on.
Come on. Congratulations, man, on being committed for a whole year.
Yeah.
Is no easy fit, especially when you're not making any money yet.
Yeah.
So you guys just stick through it, and eventually something is gonna happen.
It's gonna happen, definitely, man.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
There's something I want to talk about real quick before we wrap up. What you're doing, you're a radio presenter, you do A&R, you have managing TnT and whatnot. Let's ask myself, why don't many media personalities in Kenya do that? Because I personally feel if they did that, that would be good for the ecosystem, the music industry generally. Because they usually leave these young cats struggling for themselves. And if you look abroad, that's how these people do. Prolific DJs become A&R. Radio presenters become, you get what I mean? So I love what you're doing for Kenya, but my question is, why don't we have more people with bigger numbers, bigger names? Why not?
I mean, the passion. We don't have people don't have passion for the music. A lot of people who are in media actually do not care about the music. Like you said, it's you're funny on Instagram, and then you get into media and you're funny on radio, and that's where it stops. So for me personally, I got into media because I was frustrated as an artist. I was a rapper.
Yeah, I know that.
And I got into media because I was like, let me try and figure out this other side of the game.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best decisions I've ever made because the network I've been able to establish, a global network, I've been able to establish through working in media is unprecedented. And it bugs me that people have had access to such networks over the years, and they haven't used it to elevate the industry.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I just think for me it's because, you know, I've been there. I know the artists struggle, and now that I'm in a position to help, hey, I have to do it.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Boy.
Okay. I think I'm okay. Karis, I think I'm fine. I'm good.
You're good, eh?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Nimepewa gems.
Anyway, Jinx, let's talk about music. Because I know you have access to up and coming new talent. Who are you listening to right now? Probably we've not got radar on right now. Who are you listening to, and we need to check out probably.
From Africa?
Anyway, no, let's talk Kenya, Africa. Kenya, Africa.
Kenya. Oh, Kenya. Ooh, are you listening to Swahili Papi?
I don't even know who that is. I'm ashamed.
Yeah. You need to tap in. You need to tap into Swahili Papi. He is incredible. He reminds me of he's like a mix of Juice World and Future almost. Like anyway, I'll send you guys something. I'll send you a link right after we're done with this. I think he's a very exciting act. I'm looking to work with him, you know, with on the A&R side, maybe possibly even management. But Swahili Papi is on my radar heavy. Who else? There's this Nigerian artist called Ladipo that I'm really messing with heavy right now too.
By the Ladipo is very dope.
He's dope. And he's big out there in Nigeria, just Kenyans don't really know him yet, but he's dope.
Yeah. Oh, I love his style. His style is very different. It's like he's talking, he's not talking. It's Jesus. Amazing.
Yeah. He knows how to blend hip hop and Afro beats very well.
Yeah. Conversational kind of rap.
Yeah. So I like him. I like him too. I think right now I'll say Swahili Papi, Ladipo. Those are some of my guys that I feel like they're not getting the attention they deserve.
Okay, definitely. We're definitely gonna check them out. And the projects, there are so many projects. By the way, before I forget, do you think during this time, COVID-19, where it seems like artists are competing for the masses' attention? So maybe an artist didn't plan to do a live, but they want to do a live. They didn't plan to release music, but they want to release the music. Granted, there are some it's gonna work for them, but there's some who are gonna flop, like being overexposed. Yeah. What do you make of it? Because I feel like we're getting peer pressure to our Sungua.
Well, I need to understand your question. You're saying the artists are competing for audiences and so?
Yeah, so you find that the people are releasing so much project. Like the market right now, it seems like there's a saturation of projects. A lot of like how time to consume.
Because these guys can't perform. They can't go outside. What are they gonna do? If you're an artist, what do you think you'd be doing? You'd be in the studio every fucking day.
Yeah. But
because you can't do nothing else.
Isn't there a flip side to it? Isn't there a flip side
to the thing about it though, it's about adapting early and understanding how you're gonna survive without performing. So people are testing out different things. So some people are, you know, they're gonna flood the market with singles. Some people are going the merchandise route. You know, some people are selling masks. Some people are, you know, doing the digital concerts. It's many different things that people are trying out. We're all in unprecedented times. Like no one saw this coming. So, you know, you're literally watching people learn to adapt. It's just nowadays with social media, it's right in front of you. So you see the mistakes, but you also see the success.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate you for doing this. I didn't think you was gonna make it, but you know what? Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
No problem, man. And it was just because I had a slight complication with I was doing an interview with Alternate Sound tonight, and they were also sending me a mix. They sent me a fire Kenyan mix.
Uh-huh.
And shout out to Ultimate Sound.
Ultimate Sound.
And
What
so
did they
that's why
do?
there was a little bit of a delay because, recording the interviews, loading them up, and then getting the poster done.
Yeah,
But, I had to do it. I know I already canceled a new once. I couldn't do it again.
Yeah. and Kenyan celebrities are famous for canceling on people. If you know, you
Really?
know. Yeah, especially see
Uh,
for a guy like me who's in the come up, man. The number of no's I've been told, you can't even believe, man.
yeah. Bro, I find it weird. People just can't offer their time, their insight. Like I find it's a weird culture that it's one of the things I'd like to see phased out of this business. I want to see when you guys are in position,
Yeah.
I want you to help the next guy.
Yeah.
Because someone also, helped you. Because what's happening, why we're lacking that continuity is because every group is secluded.
Yeah.
And we need to embrace each other.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we're just stronger together, man. That's what I believe, and that's why I'm here. And thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you so much. Boy, you wanna say anything before we wrap up?
Yes, please. We're looking for jobs. In case you hear of opportunities, please, we are looking for jobs. But it's so good to have you, man. Let me ask you a question, like totally off topic. Are you this hard to find?
Am I hard to find?
Emotionally,
yes.
or how are you asking, my boy? Be precise.
Please, if it is emotionally, we'll slide in his DMs. Professionally.
I don't think I'm hard to find. I'm busy, but I'm not hard to find. We could always schedule. I'm accessible. Like I said, I try to be as accessible as possible because I know how it feels for people to shut the door in your face, and I don't want to be that guy. So sometimes I can be overwhelmed because I commit to different things. So some people may tell you I'm snobby. Maybe they just caught me in a bad mood. Caught me when I was juggling too much. But I try to be accessible as much as possible, and hopefully, that trend continues with everyone I interact with.
How hard or easy was it for you to get in radio, by the way? How hard or easy was it for you?
Yeah, what's your story?
To get
in radio.
To get in radio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it was actually it wasn't that hard. Like I said, I was a rapper at the time.
Okay.
I started rapping 2008 is the first time I stepped into a studio to record. And by 2011, I had started my first company. It was a events and promotions company called Kenyans Got Swag. And we started that company to promote music, to promote the music we were making. Because, let me add some context, this Kenyans Got Swag page was started by a friend of mine while in high school for a Safaricom competition. This when Facebook was super new, maybe around 08 even.
Yeah.
So there was a competition, create a page, whoever gets the most likes wins some cash, I think some a laptop or whatever it was. So this friend of mine started a page called Kenyans Got Swag on Facebook, and he used to post mchongwano daily, mazee mchongwano ka tano. So the page got really popular. By the time we were finishing high school, it had 5,000 likes. It was actually at one point the most liked Facebook page in Kenya.
What high school was that?
So
what
I
high
told
school
him,
was that?
We were in Mackenzie.
Okay. Where is that?
Mackenzie is uko Ukambani, uko Tala.
Okay.
It just has a fly name, like it's in the book.
I thought it was a group of schools.
I know, right? I was just like, you were to a private schools.
Hey, bro, I'm a trenches guy. Maybe we'll do a part 2.
I've
been through it all.
Yeah.
So so we start Kenyans Got Swag to promote parties and also do our own parties. So 2011, I did my first gig in April. What did we call it? The swag party or something at Secrets Lounge. And since it was a very popular page, all the cool kids were coming out. There was this crew called the Swag Sons. At the time, Nick Mutuma, was in Sugar. He was the cool kid in town.
Killing all them ladies.
Ian Boya. So
Yeah.
I just started developing. I started developing that network I was telling you about.
Yeah. Keyword network.
Through eventing. So through eventing, I created that network, and then through that network, the music started to be played on radio, and then from there, I started doing interviews. And Homeboys was the first station to play my music. So the Jump Off, actually, in 2011. The Jump Off was the first show to play my stuff. So, I started doing interviews on Homeboys 2013 when the first freshman list came out. My group was a part of it. It was BLC, Calligraph Jones, Unique, 1 to 5, Lon John, Kusma. Who am I missing? Large Gang, I think. Yeah. So I was a part of that. Freshman class. 2013 was the first class. So me and Corinne had, established a rapport. We're friends. And so I was also studying. I was studying radio, but I was just doing it for my parents, to be honest with you. Like I was never I've always been a business guy. I've always been a business guy. Like I said, you see, like I finished high school 2010, 2011. I'd started my first company. My parents.
I was telling people.
Okay, we're wrapping up.
I was telling people we could literally forget everything we've talked about with you, but the one thing I'm getting from you, and the one thing I personally wish I knew early when I decided to do journalism, was networking is very important. Because I think I was one of those people who was so naive to think like, man, see, I'm talented. Kwani I'm junior, you know what I mean? But I think what I'm getting from you now is networking. Networking is key.
Yep.
So
hi, bro. I think we'll do a part 2. I'll tell you the full story.
Okay, man. I will try get you do a part 2, a proper one. Time hatuna haraka. Alafu tafanya hivyo sio. Anyway, thank you so much, my G. Thank you, my G.
Nice to meet you, boy.
Nice to meet you too, Jinx. Karibu nasikia.
Jinx. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. My G. Tito.
Anyway, thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thanks.
All right.
All right, guys. Make sure you comment, subscribe, and share the video so that we can grow. That was Jinx. It was an amazing. What did you think of that, Karis?
That was dope, man. I love it. I have a feeling nitapata kazi sasa.
Sindio? Ni vizuri na mimi sasa nimeambiwa nice to meet you Amboi. Mimi huyo DM.
Mimi kwanza nakuona sana. Mimi sijaambiwa nice to meet you. No sawa.
Not so nice to meet you, Karis.
We'll talk. Nimejaribu kuuza sera hapa.
Manze.
Anyway, this is dope. We'll do this again, I'll see you.
All right.
Truth Cafe Podcast.